Unfortunately, I'm gonna be the hater on this card. I honestly, I do hate cards like these.
80% of the people were playing the same freaking deck.
Welcome to WWB Ward Wide Broadcast. We're back, guys. Episode 21. As you can see, it's just me and Billy here. We're gonna do the duo show again, but we got a lot of fun little topics to talk about. And speaking of fun and hot weather in the summer, Billy, our summer league is doing pretty good. We're on week 2. I think I was surprised. I feel like a lot of people are kind of taking like I said, that more of that fun aspect of the doing this like kind of casual, more league, not so much competitive, where people are actually trying out different cards. It's not just let me run those decks that we were all running through like the competitive scene before before like Ward Bowl and everything ended. So I was pretty happy to see that people are trying out new decks, new cards. What's your thought with that? I think it's becoming quite a success, right?
Yeah, for sure. We haven't seen two decks that are anywhere close to each other yet, and I think most people are posting their decks after and the deck building ideas, which is a great place to post it, right? So
yeah, no, I've been encouraging them. Yeah, post them in the deck ideas. I think just for like our audience, I do know in the Discord we're getting a lot of new members, and a lot of people are, some people are asking like, hey, like I'm new to maybe just like trading card games in general, and so it's like, how do I build a deck, or how do I make I'm not sure how to like structure my deck. And I think if we have a lot of the people that have been playing Ward kind of posting these deck ideas from our summer league decks, I think that's like a great resource for those people to like use and maybe just like kind of like look at to decide how they want to maybe go about building their decks. So yeah, I think you're right. I think it's very good.
But yeah, I haven't seen any two decks that are like even kind of similar to each other. So my match against Tom today, I thought that we might be playing similar decks, but very different. Even though like I led with a giant turtle, he led with a wizard, and I had also wizards in my deck. They have completely different game plans. So it's good fun. It's good fun. I'm enjoying it a lot so far. Seems really balanced. Looking forward to keep going along, and some of these other formats we'll get to play.
Is there like a surprise card that you're like seen that maybe you're just like, oh, that card actually kind of like caught your eye of like people using it or playing with it, or not yet?
I was I was taken aback by your gnome deck, because I was like, how is he winning? Because I just always thought gnomes were like kind of like low tier garbage. So like it's like it's a fun gimmick, but like can it actually work? But I guess you've figured out a way to do it. So
no, I mean, honestly, that was kind of my opinion. Like I was telling this story while I was playing Jenna this week, and I was just saying like I had a gnome deck from like the very beginning when I started playing the game, because when you're cracking packs, it's like most of the gnomes, I think they're all rare in Gen 2. So for Gen 2 only, there's just a gnome dragoon and gnome warrior. And so I was hitting those, and I was like, ooh, it's kind of cool. There's like more than one gnome. So like I wanted to make a gnome deck. So I had like a really budget-tier gnome deck. I didn't even know that Gen 1 had just a regular gnome with the same effect in there. So like I made a gnome deck, but you're right. Just Gen 2, gnomes were pretty bad, because one of them is a sack creature, and both of them have like pretty stats. Like, I mean, they're not like...
Gnome Dragoon by itself is actually not bad.
Yeah. I utilize, I think that was he's kind of like the star of the show right now, and that's kind of what I utilize. But obviously, being able to add just regular gnomes into the deck makes it so much better, because now you can have access to potentially 9 gnomes, which, if you don't know, gnomes effect, they all share the same effect. It basically, for every gnome in your hand, you get to add 1 attack dice, 1 hit to your modifier, and attack damage. So like basically you're just making buffing up the more gnomes you have in your hand, which again, a pretty unique effect. Only cards that have that effect that I'm aware of right now in Ward. And so it's like when you first see them in the game, like I said, when I first was cracking packs, I was like, "Ooh, this is my deck." So I made a budget tier deck, but like I said, yeah, it didn't really perform. But it's like now that we have Gen 1, Gen 2 mixed together, yeah, I took a swing at it, and I made my version of the gnome deck. I know Marty and Tommy were giving me crap. They were like, "Oh, you didn't have all the gnomes in it, and you also didn't put magic artillery." But it's like, hey, maybe I'll do a version with magic artillery, because I have a pretty funny idea with that too. I don't want to spoil the whole thing, but I think there's a fun way to play with magic artillery.
Yeah. Okay. I should go back and say I don't. I said gnomes are low tier garbage. So that's my thought. I'm thinking we haven't. Nobody has played it. Gnome Buddy has played it.
Gnome Buddy.
Yet. Ah, got him. Yeah. So I could be wrong, and I will be happy to admit that. So everybody,
Yeah.
next constructed tournament, go win it with the gnomes and kick my butt. I'd be happy. I'll happily admit I'm wrong.
Well, it's fair to say, like you said, like all through so far, like the competitive scene, like all of season 2, like nobody had gnomes, brought gnomes to a tournament that I'm aware of. That's what I was trying to think about too. I was like, I don't think competitively I've even seen anyone build like a gnome deck. So like, I didn't really have like a blueprint or anything to go off of like what I should put in the deck. But like you said, I think what I ended on was pretty good. I just kind of thought of the main things you got to counter. Obviously, like I said, like, yes, Gnome Dragoon is a good card, but it also has that speed element to it where he's only 10 speed, not 12 speed. So it's like a lot of the good cards, Assassin, things outpace it. And like, it isn't hard for an Assassin to get like 60 damage in one hit. So it's like, I did have to think a little bit about how I was building my Gnome deck. But yeah, I thought it performed pretty well. And Jenna brought the Vampire Lord deck, which I think my matchup's pretty good against the Vampire Lord. It's a little bit of a slower deck, so it kind of lets you like set up. But I think if gnomes go up against like a faster deck, like I know a lot of people were running, like even in our WWB like tournament, we threw like Assassins and Raccoon Knights and things. Like I think gnomes probably struggle a little bit in those matchups just because they only have limited HP. And their modifiers are pretty bad until you actually get like gnomes in your hand. Like without having the extra gnomes, it is kind of weak.
Did you put? I don't remember your deck. Did you put Dawn of the Living Chickens in there?
No. I was no, okay, not my gnome deck. No, I don't think so. Why?
That would actually. Well, that's a good one to put in there because you show. You're hoarding gnomes in your hand to get the modifier, so you show them for the modifier, and then you play Dawn of the Chickens to get all of them in the field.
See, that's what I'm curious about. I'm wondering if I was gonna ask Tommy or Joe. I was gonna see if they would answer, but I was gonna ask them if gnomes when do you count the modifier? Because yeah, I agree. It would be cool if you could like sum them, but I'm wondering if it's like you have to have them in your hand while you're doing like combat. Otherwise, it's like you don't get the buff.
Because this says you have to show them. I'm looking up the card now. And they did make Dawn of the Chickens and all the extra gnome support in Gen 2. So, I mean, it could be like a intended combo that no one's hit yet.
I think it would be fun, but like I said, you really got to know what the ruling is for like how exactly
you got to know
what the ruling. Oh, gosh, Billy. No, gnome is too
okay.
Of a word.
It says for every card in your hand. You don't show it, so I guess it's just currently. So
okay.
Oh, well, it says, okay, in the extended card description, it says prior to making your attack, you must show all gnome cards in your hand to your opponent.
So you couldn't do that.
A bit of a gray area, right? I mean, I'm going to probably say
because you can't play if it's not a quick. The only spells you can play in combat are flat, flash spells. So
yeah, but it just says prior to your attack. So I could do it like main phase 1. Hey, I have all these gnomes. I have 4 of them. Okay, now I'm gonna say it's probably not works like that. But, I mean, it gives you leverage.
Only in combat.
Yeah. I mean, but it gives you leverage for like if you're playing with Dawn of the Chickens, because you could say, okay, because I think you had Flame of the Infinites in your deck, right?
No, I didn't. But
no,
if I did though, I think that would be, if like you said, if that interaction worked, Flame of the Infinite plus Dawn of the Living Chickens would be pretty. Then you actually just get the whole gnome army, and see, but that's the thing. Only your primary would get the buff, so it's like Yeah.
Well, I think no. I think what you could do is because you have the gnomes in your hand, you can choose. Okay, do I want one big swing, or do I have the cards with Dawn of the Chickens to just
Yeah.
make a big attack?
That's
You
fair,
know,
especially if you like know your opponent's like running a lot of like negate attacks or something. Yeah, that'd be cool.
or
But
like,
I
or
have a
they have demonic turtle. You know, like you can throw the limit
oh,
zones and then
so you don't
attack them
take
from
any
the side.
damage? Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
like that too. I like that
I
too.
good tech in there somewhere. So
Okay, okay, yeah. But like you said, probably want to get the ruling. I really hope they would rule it that way, but as we know, there's been so many rulings where in our heads we were like, "Oh yeah, this is how it should work." And then it's like, "No, that's not how they intended it to work," which I don't know. I can
magic
understand.
steel.
I can understand,
No,
but
it's
I
fine.
think it is kind of cool. I think that what they should have made the text be, as long as you have them revealed, you get the buff. Because yeah, I think that would be really cool if you could do kind of like cool combos with the gnomes. But yeah, anyway, that was the deck I brought. Like I said, it did pretty well. I do think again it is one of those decks where it's like you really just have to find your pieces. You know, it's like if you don't find the gnomes, unfortunately they're not the greatest stats and they don't hold up too well. So you kind of have to like try to find ways to like stall. Which I used a lot of the recursion spells. You know, the common things like
Yeah,
Holy Light. You know, Ghost from the Past. But
we
yeah.
need in Gen 3. We need Dragon Tamer, but for gnomes. Hey,
Oh
sorry,
yeah,
cat.
you're good. He's getting them.
Cat was ripping the cat a
Billy's
shit
house,
hard
his
today.
zoo is going on crazy over there. Don't worry.
Yeah, they're taking over.
Uh
Uh,
oh.
yeah. Oh, what was I saying?
But no,
Yeah, we need Dragon Tamer for gnomes. We need like instead of like, well, I mean you can't do gnomes or
what did
druids, but
gnomes do
maybe
on in their pastime? Like garden party or something?
oh shrooms.
I just always think my mom used to have a bunch of little garden gnomes like all over in her little garden things, and so in my head is everything's in a garden. Gnomes in the garden. There,
Maybe
gnomes in the garden. That's what you call it. Heck yeah, I like that. Gnomes in the garden.
maybe it could be called like Trusty Steed, and it's just the dog from Gnome Dragoon like
Oh,
coming to the
going to
rescue. It's
go get
like
them. Oh, that'd be
fetch
kind of cool
one,
too. Yeah,
tutor one,
I
gnome to your hand.
I know in the last episode we were talking to Joe. I really should have asked him. I was like, who decided that there was going to be a corgi in that card as their little steed? I thought that
It's
who.
awesome.
Yeah, I was like, whoever thought of that, you know, that they got to give them all that credit because I think that it does make it probably one of the coolest cards, creatures like in War. I think just because of the whole corgi gnome riding on a corgi. I love that thought.
But to answer your question, yes, it is cool seeing all the different kinds of decks in the Summer Ward League, and I think people are taking. I mean, they're being competitive, right? Because they're not playing like just nothing. They're playing good cards, but they're playing fun new ideas, which is what we want to see. So it's been a good time so
Yo,
far.
I have a quick question. I think there is a couple people running like Steam with entry. What do you think about that? A deck that like basically every creature just cannot be interacted with. Like, is that something? Like, do you think that might be going forward? And when people get a hold of entry and get a hold of like Steam Rexes and stuff, like Steam Rex plus entry. Like, I don't know. I was seeing a couple. I think Jeremy and Michelle were both running kind of variations of that. I was
The
curious.
deck that I gave Erica to play at the Runes and Relics tournament had two entries in it and a Steam Rex and assassins with heroism. So like it was that idea, and lightning strikes, apocalypses, the
Right.
usual suspects. So
Oh
yeah, I
yeah.
think it could work. Um, yeah, I mean, it's an option.
Yeah,
Uh,
I just find it with Steam. Like I do love the Steam idea. Me and Adam V, he plays a lot of Steam. Obviously, that was kind of his deck. We were just talking about how they're pretty balanced cards. Like Steam cards, I think are probably some of the most balanced, just because they only rely on their stats, and a lot of times, like if cards can out damage them, they don't actually like. You know what I mean? They don't hold up so well, so it's like a lot of times like I see that Steam can struggle like trying to like they do consistent damage, but they just are take a lot of turns to like get them to actually like feel impactful, if that makes sense.
that's where Adam's Steam Burn kind of works, right? Because
Mm.
he can play a lot of Ignitibus, he can play the Apocalypse, he can play um, the Lightning Strikes. There's one of the new. Maximum Ward.
Yeah, I'm
The
seeing
limits on the
everybody.
bane of existence.
Everybody's going crazy with that card. It is interesting. Like I said, I've been having many talks. I think a lot of people have talked to me, and I do have a little bit of frustration. Like I said, I do like limited summon decks. I'm not, I think they are a very fun mechanic in Ward. I can understand that, yes, at this moment they feel very powerful. Um, but I do think some of these cards will put them in check. But yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I also don't think a lot of people have maximum ward just laying around, and it has to be limited. And again, it has to fit all these requirements. It's like I don't know. To be honest, like I like the promo cards. That they like just watching how people are building them in the decks. Has anybody really like cracked the code yet? I'm not really sure. Another card like you were talking about, Ward United, I think, is also an interesting card that has been being used. I mean, I know Tommy used it against you in the game. I also used it
He
week one.
tried.
Yeah, trying to figure out ways with that card. It is hard, like I said, and the thing too is like getting it to stick on the field is obviously just like a very hard thing in itself when you're trying to put a bunch of big creatures in your deck, put that card in your deck, and not have ways like like Foggy Night or anything to like really protect it. It tends to be very hard, and like you said, the fact that your opponent can also use that card, I really am, you know trying to think is like, will it actually become like a good card in competitive play? Because I don't know. I think it is hard to justify sometimes.
Well, that brings up kind of a good point of like, is there any promo card that is like so great that it's like too powerful for being a promo, right? I
Hmm.
think you wanted to kind of discuss that. And one of the biggest, I'm not going to call it the downsides, but really it's one of the things that keeps the promo cards in check is like you can only have one. So there are no game plans around. I mean, as much as, I mean, the most, we'll call it the most competitively like used promo card so far is Scarlet for good reason.
Yeah.
And when it first came out and the first tournament or two where it was in, it dominated. And then people were like, okay, I need to prepare. And it's like, okay, so if I have to roll doubles, I'm not going to hit her that way. I need something more consistent. And then you start to prepare for it. And then you all of a sudden one ignite, one backstab, one
Yep.
force. Like there's just so many ways to like deal with it.
Yeah.
Mind sap, demonic magic. So I
Right.
don't know. Uh, I I don't think it. We haven't seen enough play with the new promos to know
I'm kind
anything.
of
But
curious. What about like Aqua Dragon, or like you said, not the new promos, but like what about the ones we have seen? I mean, Aqua Dragon. I'm trying to think of what other one gets used. Oh, artist or
Egg
Gorith.
Turoff, yeah,
Yeah.
I
Sorry, I'm
love
gonna
artist
butcher
egg
his name every
Turoff,
time I
but
say it.
it's good. But I mean, it's balanced. It's an
Yeah.
elf, no effect, So um, I don't know.
I just get worried because back to
Everything.
like the Dragon Tamer card, they are making, we do have to bring up like there now that there is, Dragon of Time plus Aqua Dragon, like there is a lot of dragon promos that like that card can search. So back to where you're like, oh, you can only have one. There are some that are a little more consistent that you can like bring out potentially, like without like it getting to be like way too RNG to find it in your deck. So it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a fair statement. You can make it more consistent with Dragon Tamer.
Mm,
Um, they're both AO12s, and Aqua Dragon. I haven't really. I mean, Jesse played it for Bowl, and maybe he played it in a game in a tournament before, I think.
yeah,
But
I
I
did bring
mean,
it to one of our tournaments too. I played
yeah,
it at.
that's right. Okay, so you did
Yep.
play it.
I-
Um,
Jesse
I don't
did.
know. I
Jesse's
mean,
Undead King did end up beating it though. So.
well, there you go. I don't know. I don't really see. There's no promo that it's like I feel like I can't compete if I don't have it. And like original through season two tournament play, like I think what it looked like is in the beginning of it, maybe some promos being played, and then halfway through, like I was using a lot of promos, and then towards the end of it, like I don't think my Ward Bowl deck had any promos at all.
Well, I mean, we also have
And
to bring up the fact that they did make that pretty strong, statement that they were like, we're not going to have promos. So I think that also decentivized a lot of people to put them near the end of the season. I mean, obviously we brought it up on
yeah,
our earlier podcast and talked about the whole, like, are we going to have promos going forward kind of things. So,
I got salty. Yeah. Well,
yeah.
we got to use them. It's okay. They're making more promos and people get to use them.
But
Ward
again, when you
United.
come back to it though, back to just kind of the question was like, are promos too strong? I know I try to bring it up with Joe a little bit in the last episode, and that's where I guess it's coming from. Like, do you feel like they are? I mean, he kind of said like they do kind of vary, and he's not wrong. Like you said, some are good, some aren't always hitting the mark, but it's just like overall, like I think usually they stat wise, a lot of those things they are kind of better than a lot of other cards in the game. But like, how do you feel? Are they like too powerful? It sounds like you might be a little more in the middle, like not too crazy powerful.
Well, I'm a their power level, like as a whole, kind of feels like epic, like an epic card. I don't feel like any of them are. Maybe you could say Artist is a legendary.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you could say Scarlet's a legendary, but even then, I don't really know if I think Scarlet's a legendary. It's just when you get put in the situation, there's recency bias with me, right? Because like, oh, I remember the tournament where Tyler kept putting Creators Gifts on my
Right.
guy, so I couldn't hit Scarlet.
Yeah.
But that's just because I didn't have any answers in my deck. If you properly game plan, and Scarlet doesn't feel like anything other than a nuisance to have to deal with.
Yeah, but I
Eggroth feels like any more than like a rogue, any more than like
right.
Demon Dragon when I have 8 cards in my hand. You know what I mean? So it's like I don't know. Like
That's fair. Some cards that I think about, I don't know if I think it's called Hellwalker, the promo, and I think if you look at what the text of that card is, it's kind of ridiculous. Like if demons ever become like the meta or like kind of like a very strong demon deck, that promo card it basically shuts down all their effects. They cannot be sacrificed. It makes it so that if you have a demon on your side of the field, you can't play Matt. It's basically like an irresistible love built into the demon, and he does double damage. Like I do get worried about cards like that because it's just like at some point it's like demons just cannot be played because of a card like that might exist, and you know what I mean? Like
yeah, but I mean, remember it's an effect, which
yeah,
means if you were, let's pretend demons they do get really good,
yeah,
and then you're like, okay, I have to be ready for when a Hellwalker eventually comes out because then I'm
right.
hosed. So you throw Mind Sapper 2 in there, make sure that effect can't go off,
Well,
or
and I
demonic
agree.
magic. I don't know.
I sorry, I don't want to cut you off, but like I agree with
There
what you're
you go.
saying. I just think it is one of those things where promos aren't always what a lot of people think about. Like you said, not everyone has a promo card. We have to at least address that. It's like not everybody. It's hard to get access to these cards. You can't just
Sure.
go and rip them out of a pack. You have to, go to events, be there, be somewhere to get this promo card. And so it's like
Yeah.
it is I sometimes I look at it like it is a big ask to have some of these really powerful effects on these cards. Like I said, I do like that they have cool little like I like to call them like kind of gimmick like little fun things that it's like you could build a deck around this card, or like they are still strong cards on their own most often than not if you do look like at their stats and stuff. But again, it just I don't want them to be so powerful that it's like they literally just warp a whole meta. Because like I said, if a demon deck ever does become meta, it's like I don't want a card like that that just makes it feel like it's like, oh, like I can't even I just can't use these decks because this card does exist. Kind of like Scarlet, like you said. It's like if there ever is a meta where there isn't like burn being played, like Scarlet will just be so much more efficient in that meta, because it's like
Yeah,
not
but
as many
but
ways to deal with her.
but that's how metas shift, right?
Yeah.
It'll go in one direction where like there's lots of burn, and then Scarlet doesn't get used, and then we'll shift away, and then all of a sudden someone will say, "Oh, wait a minute, Scarlet works really well now." It gets put in, it dominates, and then it shifts back to something where that deals with Scarlet. Like so,
Right.
there's gonna be a ebbs and flows of this
Well,
thing,
I
right?
agree.
And you have.
Oh, you go with your
Well, I
ebbs
was
and
just gonna
flows.
say, like, I mean, put yourself in like the shoes of making promos. You want something that people want, and it has to be like fun and playable and somewhat good, but you don't want it to be so good that it's broken. And I don't really feel like any of them are broken. Um, you know, I don't
Yeah,
know that's
I
kind of where I'm at in the camp, right? Like they need to be desirable and they need to be like worthy of like running after making the purchase to get the promo or whatever, or
I
winning the tournament to
I
get the
got what.
promo.
Yeah,
But
I follow that too. I just think it's like if you look at these boss promo edition one cards that have coming out, I think we could all agree a lot of these are just stronger. Like they are getting stronger than what those the other promos in a sense. I would say like besides maybe like Scarlet or Gorat, like you said, those couple. There's a couple that might be out of that vein, but like again, and this is my honest opinion or my own opinion. I know not everyone shares this, but Dragon of Time, I'm sorry to say,
you and your Dragon of
the
Time, we're
stats
just
on that
a
card,
hater.
the stats on that card are very scary, and you cannot deny that. They are kind of
80
scary stats.
HP for a 2 sacks. That is
Yes, but think
sort of
about
it's weak.
I know, but as like a limited summon, just having guaranteed damage like that. I mean, obviously, like Tommy, like in this tournament or like in the league, he played. You just played against it, and it's like again, he wanted to get out Ward United with it, but he didn't. But he still had a way to stop you and was consistently doing 25, almost 25 damage every hit. It's like I don't know when you talk about that, it's like that isn't just anything. It's like that can be a lot of damage, especially when you can have like ghost form or things that negate damage like that.
But
That's
it
rough.
should be a lot. It's an AL-12. It's supposed to hit hard.
Yeah,
Like that's
I
kind of the
agree, but that's
point.
what I'm saying. If you put it in the category of AL12s, it sits a little higher. You got to admit it's at the higher end of the AL12 category, and so I don't know.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, it's a lot of damage, but it's also unique because it's the lowest HP AL-12 in the game, except for Raccoon Knight,
Yeah, yep. Put him
and
in there.
its effect is random. Like it you can't plan for what it does almost the whole time. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
I get what you're saying. Again, I'm not trying to say it's ridiculous. I'm just saying, look at old promos, look at new promos. The direction it feels like they're going is the power level is like kind of increasing, and like I just get worried that I don't, in my mind, with how rare promos can kind of be to come by. I don't want them to be so meta defining that they force. Like, look at Scarlet. Like, I think Scarlet is a very good example. It forces people to have to always put that kind of stuff in their deck. And I guess I don't really want promo cards to feel that way, right? like,
Well, I mean, it did, but for Ward Bowl, I don't think it was really a problem. I mean, top three
yeah.
decks didn't have any. I take that back. Joe Team might have had a Scarlet
Well,
in his deck. I don't remember, but either
I
way, I
agree with
mean,
you. I just think you're right. Like, in my head, Gen 1, when it was only Gen 2, Scarlet seemed a lot more oppressive. Obviously, there wasn't heroism for her, which now I would say probably is buffs her quite a bit considerably. But at the same time, there was burn. It was easier to put burn in your deck for Gen 2.
yeah,
Um, yeah, it's hard to say. I think people also just didn't try to counter it as much, and like it kind of only came in at the very end of Gen 2, like you said. That tournament that you and Tyler did with Scarlet was like kind of like the last like Gen 2 only tournament. So it's like we never people really didn't get to adapt before Gen 1 the second edition of Gen 1 came in, and then they like
yeah,
it kind of like reset everything. And I think there are a lot of counters to her now with Gen 1 as well.
yeah. I mean, the card was made with all cards in mind.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe in Gen 2 only is a little bit stronger, maybe closer to legendary category with all the cards together, maybe not. Maybe it's more an epic where it's probably I don't know, that's what I see them as anyway. Epic power level legendary rarity. You know?
Can we give any rarity to any of the promos? Sorry, you got me intrigued when you were saying they're all like epic level. I'm curious. Is there anyone that we would give a rare stamp of? Oh, a WWB
Yeah,
rare stamp level for a promo card.
yeah, Perseus.
Oh,
I don't remember what the card does, but it's not good.
I'm pretty sure it just makes
Uh,
it if he rolls like a 3 or no, what is it? It's like is it? It's like a weird one where he rolls like 3, 4, or 5 or something too, right? It's like a goofy rolling dice, but I'm pretty sure he like doesn't take damage or something for that turn for a turn cycle.
During your turn, roll one die. If the result is 5 to 6, this card
Oh,
cannot be damaged for one turn cycle. Pretty sick. You also cannot use magic while this effect is active.
yeah.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
Feels like
Yeah,
it fits.
that's a rare.
Feels like it fits in the rare, kind of like demonic magic. It's like in a sense has like a negative effect, but also a positive effect. Yeah, I think you could probably put a
Like,
rare.
it's cool. The art is nice.
Oh,
And it probably thematically will fit in like a nice like warrior deck or whatever.
what about like Marshall? I always forget what it is. Lord
Lord
Marshall.
Marshall Garoth. No, I think he's a okay. Lord Marshall Garoth.
Is he an
I
AL
had one
7? What is he?
AL 8, speed 10, HP 70, 4+4, no effect.
Okay.
He here's a good example. He is almost interchangeable between him and Undead Dragon.
Okay.
Undead Dragon, higher AL, more HP, less speed, same exact attack. So you can pick. I want less HP for more speed with Lord Marshall Roth, or I want more HP and more AL, less speed, Undead Dragon. You can
Right.
interchange them. And you know what? Undead Dragon's an epic. What do you know?
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of how I look at it.
Yeah, it feels like
Hellwalker
anything with
has
like
an
4 dice.
unbelievable. Yeah. Hellwalker has an unbelievable effect, extremely limited, because they have to be a demon. So you
Yeah.
almost like.
I still think that's an epic level. I think it's still an epic level card though. He has pretty good stats and he is an AL12, but I don't think there's many AL12s that are not epic or higher. Like I'm trying to think, is there even a rare AL12? I don't think so.
No, it's not, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Ward. I don't know. We'll find out. We'll let the game play out and see what happens.
What about that hunter? What
we
about
don't
the
have
hunter guy that reduces it by 6? You think that's probably still over?
Zanj.
I mean, that's pretty decent. It's not bad.
Yeah, 4 dice rolls for an attack. AL6. Not a lot of AL6s that have 4 dice rolls.
Yeah.
And you get to reduce their AL -6. So that makes up for the fact that he has no modifier. So
Right.
and you negate all their AL increases. Like, that's a solid AL6 creature. That's pretty solid. I'll put that in epic,
Yeah. I think
And
I want people, like I said, I guess if I just make sure everybody looks at the promos and stuff and keeps up to date with promos, because these are cards that, yes, like I said, they're not seen a bunch, but like they can be very impactful. And I think like especially if you're gonna start getting into like tournaments and competitive scene for Ward, you definitely want to at least like know what they are, right? Because it's like they definitely can be game warping in some sense, because like I'm sure a lot of people that listen to this podcast or just in general with Ward don't even know or haven't even seen any of these cards really be used. Like I said, not a lot of people have them, so it's like definitely good just to kind of like go into the card library, go on the website, just see those cards just so you kind of have an understanding, because like yeah, definitely as Ward goes on, promos will definitely become cards that are a little tricky for people to remember, and then all of a sudden they'll show up and you'll be like, oh, Scarlet, how does this card work again? Oh yeah, it's kind of crazy. But all right, yeah. I think we covered the promos pretty good. Speaking of powerful cards, though, we're on the power trip this episode, Billy. So we've heard in some other games they like to have like special names for cards that they think are like must-haves in their deck, and I thought it would be kind of cool if we did like a Ward version of these kind of cards. And so I think like in Magic, like we said, Billy, they call it like the Power 9. What? Yeah, right. Power 9.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think in Yu-Gi-Oh. I don't even know if I mean, I guess you could call it like the Exodia hand or whatever.
No, you would put it like, I don't know, Regeki, Harpy's Feather Duster.
Yeah. Like I said, these are
I don't know.
must have cards that it's like you basically run these cards because they are just so good that it's like there really isn't anything else that you would put in the deck, but because of how good these cards are, right? Like that's kind of the concept of this. And so for Ward, we were kind of brainstorming, and so like since you have a maximum hand of 8 cards, I thought we would do the number as 8, but then we decided Elite 8 was gonna be the name.
8.
So this is gonna stick. So everybody in the Discord, if you're mentioning the power cards of Ward, we're calling them the Elite 8. So now everybody knows. So you heard it here first. So we are making ready, Billy. We're gonna make the Elite 8 of power cards in Ward at this moment.
All right.
So
do you want to just go down? We'll go like. You want to take turns going?
Yeah. Let's take turns.
Well,
let's take turns picking one, and then obviously we'll debate them. Okay, so we'll definitely talk about it because we have to make sure. I think me and you are pretty good judges of Ward that we could probably come up with these. And obviously, at the end of the day, if other people want to chime in, if they think that our lists aren't the Elite 8, we can definitely. I think it would be a good way to have discussion. Like I said, go in the comics on YouTube or Spotify or whatever, and post about what you think the Elite 8 would be. But yeah, I think for us, let's just rattle off our lists and then let people pick them apart and see if we can come up with an Elite 8. So a perfect hand, Billy. It's kind of like what would be the perfect power hand to have in Ward. Do you want to go first?
I'm not gonna say perfect hand. I'm gonna say what cards am I the happiest to see in my hand when I pull?
Yeah, exactly.
So,
here, but you go first. So do the first of the Elite 8.
I think number 1 has to be Holy Light. It is insane to be able to say I can pull whatever I want out of the cemetery. It could be a creature, it could be a magic card, it could be anything for free. Free. Granted, you can't play it again, but I mean,
right?
That's just insane.
But that's where you have to say, like, it's so powerful. They not only limited the card, they also had to put a requirement that you cannot keep pulling this card out of the cemetery because it's like that's how powerful this card is. So it's like I agree with you. You got to put it up there. That's probably number 1. Holy Light. Any game that has free value cards that just like basically like that card be like a different any card in your deck, I think is always a very strong card. You're basically just churning Holy Light into whatever card you need that's in your cemetery. So yeah.
Yeah, the qualifier is you have to have played the card you want to copy.
Yeah. That
awesome.
not too hard to meet that requirement. So yeah, I think we can easily all put Holy Light at the first slot there. For slot number 2, going down, I think Revival Priest probably follows up Holy Light pretty good. With cards that need to come out of the cemetery, I think speaking from competitive play, there is so many crazy things you can do with Revival Priest. I think it is like one of those cards that like going forward, I don't think we will be seeing another Revival Priest at that level or like at the strength it's at, but like yeah, definitely I think that will be one of the Elite 8 will be Revival Priest. I think most people put that card in their deck for very good reasons.
I think we'll probably agree with our top 4. I don't know if we'll agree on the order. So I have Holy Light. I have Revival Priest as number 3.
Okay.
Because it's very good, but I think number 2 goes to the other card that will let you pull any magic card out of the cemetery you want. It's Visitor from Beyond. And fair. I always say that because most of your deck is magic cards. Right. You have between 5 and 10 creatures, and you have between 20 and 25 magic cards.
Right.
And some of them are so good you'll want to use them more than once.
Oh, yeah.
And so, if I have, 3 Creator's Gifts, and I'm not saying that card should be on the list. I'm just an example. If I have 3 Creator's Gifts and a Holy Light and a Visitor, I have essentially 5 Creator's Gifts if I want them. You can see the argument either way because the balance from Revival Priest is really good. So I put Visitor number 2, but I'm open to correction.
No, I think Visitor it's very good. Like you said, any card that lets you basically have zero cost and you can again, it's a turn this card into any card in my cemetery that I've already played, and it's just like besides like Holy Light or something else. But obviously, you know what I mean. Within that realm, it can basically bring back any powerful card that you need. So it's like, yeah, I think it definitely fits that category very well. Like you said, it's so good. I when I think back to like competitive play, it's like how many people have had Visitor in their decks. Just about every player had a Visitor from Beyond
You have to have it.
and a Holy Light, like you said, yeah, and it's good, and you can pull it back out of the cemetery, I guess, potentially too. So it's like, but some cases better than Holy Light. Okay, so let's see here. So we're still, what are we at then? 4, because we have, yeah, this would be number 4.
Yeah, well, yeah. So it's Holy Light and then Visitor and Revival Priest 2 or 3.
Mm-hmm.
Number 4.
I want to say Ghost Form is probably on there. I think it is just
Form,
or not Ghost Form. Sorry, Ghost of the Past. I apologize. I
Ghost
always
of the Past
in my
is
head.
also my answer.
I'm a Gen 2 guy, so anytime I say Ghost, it instantly goes Ghost Form right away because that is the first Ghost. I don't care what Ghost of the Past has. I'm Ghost of Form was definitely my first Ghost. So.
Ghost of the Past
but
is
anyway,
also my number.
But yeah,
4.
let's make sure we got it clear. Ghost of the Past, and what that does is lets you draw or lets you take any creature out of your cemetery. So again, a lot of these cards, if you can't tell, it's taking things out of the cemetery. It's just it's very useful tool to remove things that are already in play or have been in play than it is to like. There isn't too much like deck searching cards that are like super OP. That's like get me anything out of my deck. So the fact that like a lot of these cards are probably going to end up more towards the cemetery. But again, pulling any creature out of the cemetery, you're just taking away the way to lose the game, right? It's like if I have a 100 HP creature in my cemetery, I can just for free take 100 HP out of my cemetery. I'm gonna do that every game.
Every time.
That gives me so many more turns to potentially find ways to beat my opponent. So yeah, I think Ghost of the Past definitely is on that top 8 or the elite.
Whenever I kind of refer to them just on my own as like the Cemetery 4 is like when I'm making my decks, part of my check says, okay, do I have those 4 cards in there? If I don't have them in there, why?
Yeah.
And because I have to have very, very specific reasons. I think you can Holy Light. If I don't have it in there, it's because I literally forgot it. It will go in every deck I ever play. Visitor, probably the same. But
yeah.
I mean, you can and Revival Priest and Ghost. It just depends what you're going for.
Yeah, a lot of times, like you said, with Ghost, it just depends on how much like presence you want in the game. Because, like you said, I mean, not that I'm saying that these aren't like. There are scenarios where these cards aren't great. Like, if you just don't have a cemetery, let's say you open up with a Visitor, a Holy Light, and like a Ghost from the Past.
Yeah,
that doesn't feel great. But obviously, as soon as the cemetery builds up, eventually those cards will be, useful and can be played. So it's like, yeah, I agree with you. I think that makes a lot of sense. That, like you said, a lot of those cards deserve to be on this list because they're just that powerful.
And maybe, I mean. Maybe it's a Ward Summer League thing, but like maybe someone needs to make the Bound with Chains deck and like just completely shut those out. So you've essentially given your opponent 4 dead cards with your Bound with Chains if you can protect it.
Well, Joe Casey, the creator, I mean, he's convinced that when people need to play with that card a little bit more, Bound with Chains, because Bound with Chains, it's a field spell that makes it so you can't take anything out of the cemetery. So yeah.
Pretty good. I've tried. I haven't gotten there yet. Whenever I figure it out, I'll try it out.
Yeah, like you said, I think maybe that's the WW or the Summer League might be the place. Maybe we'll brew up a deck here. We just can't say what week we'll do it on. You want to keep the strat still. It can't be. You can't have your opponent see it coming. It's one of those things you got to be kind of sneaky about. So.
For sure.
But okay, so let's get to number 5, Billy. This is, like you said, this might be where we diverge a little bit from our Elite 8, but at some point we have to come to a consensus about what the top 8 cards are, because those will be the Elite 8 power cards in Ward. the trading
All
card game.
right. I don't think you're gonna disagree with me on this one. You might.
Okay.
I'm gonna. So we've got a legendary, a legendary, two epics,
Yep.
and now we have an uncommon.
Oh.
Irresistible love, baby.
Let's go. Yeah, well, make your argument first, and then I'll tell you if I agree.
um, you know, in terms of cards that just change the game, uh, mathematically, I keep saying it's not going to happen very often, but when it does, boy, does it hurt. Um, and there are ways to deal with it, but most of the time, people are just going to say, I'll roll out of it. And by the time they can't roll out of it, it's too late. So that's another card, and you can only have one, it's limited. That's
Yeah,
another card that,
for a reason.
when for it's another card that when the stakes are for each turner so high,
Yeah.
if you can't play more than a couple turns, you just might be out of the game.
Well,
So I have to concede, and it probably worthy of the list.
it might be the strongest unlimited card in Ward at the moment.
Uncommon.
Sorry, uncommon. Yeah, sorry, what did I say? Unlimited, uncommon. Yeah.
I mean, when I first saw the card, like when they released the digital before they printed Gen 2, I looked at it, I'm like, that card is cracked beyond belief.
Well, when you come from a different TCG, like I said, coming from like Yu-Gi-Oh, it's like cards like that existed in the first, like I said, there was a card called Cold Wave, and it literally did almost the exact same thing, and it got banned, like one of the first like banned cards because it's just too oppressive, and like I think definitely they have to be careful about the power level of some of these cards, especially at uncommon level. Like that card is nuts, and the fact that people like right now can get their hands on that card, like, it is pretty crazy.
It's deceptive, because like it's in low level play. It is an uncommon, but like,
Mm-hmm.
if you time it right in the tournament and your opponent gets two bad rolls, like that might be it.
Oh yeah.
And it's like
it definitely decides games. Like you said, I've seen tournaments. I've seen games in like tons of tournament games be decided because of that
I
card.
mean, shout out to Jesse. I mean, his game against Adam, 8 turns of it, and he's holding the cards to win the game,
Yep.
but can't play them.
No.
So
And I think that's why it definitely deserves to get up there. And like you said, it might
Math-
it might be the only uncommon card that will ever be on the power 8, or the elite 8. Sorry, the elite
it's
8.
certainly the only uncommon card that's limited right now.
Yeah,
So.
I think like you said, the biggest thing you have to address, the thing about Irresistible Love is once it goes off, you have free reign on every card to play, and your opponent just cannot do anything in response. And it's just like that is just a very oppressive ability in any card game, like not letting your opponent do anything. So,
Yeah.
in order to follow that up, Billy, this one might be.
Do you agree? Like, should we put it at 5 or should we say, I don't know?
Well, I'm kind of curious because I want to put Silence from the Grave up on there, but I'm curious because Silence of the Grave is not limited yet, and it's powerful. And you might debate with me on this, that this isn't a powerful card, but I think this card.
No, it's definitely a powerful.
Okay,
card.
well, not that it's a powerful, but does it deserve to be on the Elite Eight? I think it might go above Irresistible just because you can have 3 copies or more copies of this card.
Okay. Yes, you're correct. You can have 3 Sounds from the Graves. I think 3 of them in your deck is detrimental because the card's purpose is to end the game. And if you get them early, which is what putting 3 copies in your deck does,
Yep.
and you play them too early, you put yourself on a card disadvantage that might take the game too. Like, yes, you get an advantage in the 2 turn cycles, whatever. That's great. But it's only worth it if you can take advantage of your negative card advantage.
Right.
And in my opinion, the best way to do it is card advantage doesn't matter if I'm winning the game that turn or the next turn. So
Right.
I only play it at the end of the game or when I'm very close to ending the game. Because, I mean, it happened a bunch of times in tournament play. you play a bunch of them halfway through the game, and then all of a sudden you've expended all your resources, and now you're, as Warren Buffett says, you're swimming with your drawers off, and the tide comes back out, and then everyone sees you naked.
Yeah.
So I kind of look at Sounds from the Game the same way. It's extremely powerful, but if you play at the wrong time, it actually hurts you.
Yeah.
Irresistible Love almost never hurts you. It is only upside, and it's free to play. And yeah, you might get half a turn. You will probably only get half a turn.
Yeah, I think the hard argument.
It never hurts.
I think the hard argument is it is a very new card to even just the competitive scene of Ward. I feel like still too, where there isn't a lot of data on how effective that card is going to be. If you know what I mean, like Ward Bowl.
Yeah.
Maybe the tournament before Ward Bowl might have been the only two times that people really had too much access to that card to actually even like play it consistently. I know Alec Kerman in the Discord, we can shout him out. He always likes to point out how many times people are, when everybody shows what their polls are, their epic polls. He says there are a lot of them out there, Sounds from the Graves, which is true, there are, but at the same time, I don't know. I agree with you. I'm at the point where I think there isn't enough data to really prove if it is like a super OP card. I just think any card that shuts down all the magic and creature effects trumps out Irresistible Love. It is more oppressive in that regard. So it's like I personally do want to put it above Irresistible Love because there is still counterplay to Irresistible Love. Once Sounds from the Grave hits the field, there is no countering that card.
Yeah, I think discarding a card to play a card in a 30-card deck with no draw power really is very. We'll say no. There's no free draw power, right? Because Twister almost always gives your opponent +1 card advantage. Dragon Rage, same way. So in that scenario, you have to be extremely careful of your resource management. And if you don't, Sounds of the Grave can actually make you lose the game. Even though it's extremely so it's like a really, really, really strong sword. If you wield it the wrong way, you chop your leg off. Yeah. But if you wield it the right way, you'll kill everybody. So right. I've played and tested a lot with it. That's kind of my interpretation of the card.
All right.
I also will agree. Yes, more data is good. I would agree with that.
All right. Well, with that, we'll put Irresistible Love above it. All right. This might, again, in the comments, flame the hell out of us if you think that sounds. I'm sure Jeremy. I know Jeremy. He's a big proponent. Every time I play him, he always goes, "I'm playing the best card in the game. The best card in the game." So he'll probably put Sounds from the Grave above Irresistible Love, but we will put it Irresistible Love above Silence. How's that sound? So that's 5-6. So that's 5. So we got 2 more.
Also. Okay, so our top 5 are all limited, and number 6 is unlimited. So yep. We'll call that data.
Okay, well maybe you can, if you want to try to convince me that there's cards that are lower or that might put Sounds from the Grave even lower. We'll see. Okay, we still got 2 more slots.
We'll come back in 6 months after some more tournament play and see if I'm an idiot.
Yeah, we obviously we can always debate the Elite 8 for a little bit here. We have some time, we're still kind of new, and Ward is still a pretty new game where I think we definitely have a little bit of time to really hone in on what exactly the Elite 8 are. But I think we have a pretty good list so far.
Number 7. How will we deviate now?
Ooh, all right. You want me to shoot it? I technically did Sounds from the Grave, but yeah, I'll do number 7. Let's see. I have to put it in there. This is I'm gonna put the first creature in there, Billy.
You say it with me at the same time. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Assassin. Look at us go.
Yeah, I love it. About.
Yes, Assassin. Assassin, I think deserves a spot. Obviously pre-nerfed or pre-adjusted Assassin definitely deserved a spot. But even then,
pre-nerf Assassin was number 1.
But even then, I mean, it's just, I feel like it's undeniable. People playing the game, or at least competitively, people playing have basically kind of just like cemented it as that creature that you all, like almost everyone puts it in their deck if they can. You
If
put
you
it in
get
your deck. And so it's like that's the argument I'm going to use, is that just overall from what I've seen from tournament play, if you have an assassin, it just goes in your deck, cuz it is just a, like, to be honest, it's like a trump card. It's like, here, I have a creature that if I have the right setup, this will kill every single creature in the game. You know, if you have backstab with assassin, like it almost guarantees a kill on every creature. Like, it's very hard. I think you have to roll less than 13 damage with a card that has a +5 modifier and gets to roll 3 dice. So it's like your average damage is pretty easy to hit a 13 with, you know, all you got to do is get what, 7 on 3 dice, which I think is pretty above the average amount of that it take. You know, that's above the average damage or whatever. So yeah.
in my game with Tom today, there was only one point in the game where I was actually worried about what might happen, and like I felt like, oh, this will be the thing that turns the tide. He put an assassin on the field, and I'm like, I've exhausted all 3 Melody of the Deeps. I cannot block the attack,
Yep.
and I'm at 99 health.
He could.
A backstab kills me.
Yep.
So, or he puts a ghost form on it and then just takes a couple swings. Like, you know, that's
right. No, I
makes
hear
me
you.
shake.
I mean, if Tyler was here, I mean, he would probably definitely have some words about in the Ward Bowl. You know, Billy. Let's not forget your assassin play that he had against you. I think you got an assassin out and just, or maybe it wasn't Ward Bowl, but one of the tournaments. Maybe I'm misremembering the Ward Bowl, but didn't you just destroy him because you had an assassin in your deck? You like whooped him super fast. I don't know. I think he was playing Perfect Shark. Wasn't there? What tournament was he playing? Was that Chaska, or no? Was that?
It was an online. It was online.
That was the online
I
one.
think. The second online. Yeah.
Ooh, okay. So that was an untapped tournament. Look at us. We're already trying to. I just remember there was one game where it lasted like 3 minutes, and you brought on an assassin on the first turn, and you just whooped.
It was
house.
the second. It was the last untapped tournament because he was playing Perfect Shark. I was playing Iron Squire. I only have one assassin in the deck because it makes sense to put at least one. And I started the game with assassin.
Flame of the Infinite.
Flame of the Infinite. And I think of Foggy Night, and I was just like, okay, ready? Swing, kill. Next shark. Swing, kill. Next shark.
Yeah.
You got a great white. Swing, kill. Okay, good game. You know, so it's like, you can't do much about that.
No, but like you said, that just shows you how oppressive that card can be. Like, I mean, I'm sure everybody, when they look at the card library and you see Assassin, you're just like, wow, that is a card. that is something. That is a scary thing, especially with 12 speed. Like, it's already just inherently got everything built into it. So it's like, it is one of those cards that, like you said, the first time you encounter an assassin, you feel it. You understand. You're like, anything with like 60 HP or less has a chance to just get one shot just by the stats on this card, not including anything you might buff it up with. So it's like, yeah. Like you said, again, it kind of fits in that Scarlet category. There are a lot of counters to the card. As much as I want to say it's a powerful card, there's still a lot of things, but it is a card that forces you to have to respond to it, because, yeah, otherwise they...
And it's little downside, because it's like, okay, great, you countered it. 10 HP in the 7th.
10 HP, yeah. That's also a big thing.
It is the lowest cost creature to put in your deck.
Mm-hmm. No, exactly.
If you think about creatures in terms of, like, I have 300 HP to spend on my creatures in my deck.
Yeah, I think that's
little cost.
I think Assassin is probably the only creature that will make it in the Elite Eight. Like in my opinion, like I mean, if you want to try to debate another creature, I think overall, I think it's probably going to be the only creature that it will be in there.
Frogman. AL12 comes out for free.
What do you mean? Don't you just mean frog? Frog with its tongue attack, Billy? Remember your favorite creature? No, but here's the real question: Does Assassin go above Silence from the Grave, or does it go any higher on the list? No. Yeah, I don't think so either. Just because, first off, Silence from the Grave deals with Assassin pretty well. Second off, it is way more oppressive than an Assassin. I agree.
Silence from the Grave ends games.
Mm-hmm.
Assassin accelerates games. I don't think you'll win solely off an Assassin. I mean, I did one gun,
But
but
it very rare is
it,
an assassin the only thing that you need to win a game. Yeah.
and I think silence. You can make the case that it's at the right time. It almost always wins you the game.
Yeah, I think it also just with consistency. Magic cards, if you think of consistency, they usually do their thing very effectively. Where like creatures, kind of hit or miss. It just they don't always. You can't always guarantee everything with creatures. Like
And for
assassin
some,
can still miss. She can still crit hit herself. Like there's things that can happen.
and for some reason, it's still unlimited. So go nuts for 3 of them.
Yep, go nuts with 3 assassins. But maybe it's
I
kind of
have
like
3. I will continue to do that.
maybe it's kind of like Sounds from the Grave though, Billy. It's also been one of those cards where putting 3 in your deck sometimes hinders you a little bit too. So
Oh, actually, very valid point. Talk to Brian Challenge.
yeah, let's see how well Brian. He'll tell you all about his competitive games when he's running 3 assassins.
No, so before the Ward Bowl, I was practicing with him, and he was playing his triple assassin deck, which in Gen 1 was a legitimate strategy because it did 66 average damage and had 20 HP. And so after a couple games, he was just like, he was kind of complaining about like, my assassins die and die and die, and then I have nothing left to, and then all of a sudden I'm like sacking things I don't want to sack, and I don't have any cards in my hand. And I'm like, you need to slow the game down.
Right.
And assassins don't do that. And so he was kind of looking, he's like, I think I need like defense, like a giant turtle. He was like, do I take an assassin out? This feels wrong. And I'm like, try it.
Yeah.
And so he does,
right.
and he did a lot better. And he's like, oh my gosh. So yeah, it does hinder you sometimes. You can't just herder 3 assassins, herder 3 sounds from the graves. Like it doesn't work like that.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, not that I want to toot our own horn, but with WWB tournament, I remember that was a very common deck that a lot of people were running. Were just really fast, hard hitting creatures with low HP, and I think we definitely learned that lesson a little bit from that tournament about how you can't always just rely on pure damage to win a ward game for sure. But let's conclude this up here. Let's go to number 8. Now this might be where we definitely differ quite a bit. All right, Billy, you ready? Remember, this is a card that needs to be in like every deck.
Needs to be in every deck.
Yep, that is what the requirement.
We're at the end of the rope here,
No, I think I have it. I have the card. You ready?
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
Wrath
you can make your case.
of the old ones.
Yeah, I don't agree.
Don't worry, another limited card. I am still finding fun ways now that I've learned that you can backstab, and it stays on the field. I think it's a good argument of Wrath is just too crazy of a card, man. It is insane the value you can get with Wrath.
Tell me your reasoning with backstab, because that doesn't make any sense to me.
So the way you guys had backstab is when you play backstab, it is on the field. It is there until the end of the turn. So when you attack
it's there until it's consumed.
Okay, well then maybe I'm using it wrong, but I'm pretty sure it says until the end of the turn that is the usage of it.
Pull it up.
Yeah.
I'll pull it up. I'll tell you why it's important in a second.
Either way, I don't need to have backstab. I don't need to have backstab. You pull it up. I don't know. Have you already pulled it up?
I'm almost there.
Okay. Well, regardless, there's so many cards that you can utilize and use that you can do whatever you're going to do on your turn. You can spit out all your cards, all your equipment or whatever, kill a creature, and then just Wrath and basically get to shuffle through your deck and find pieces that you might need for your next turn or whatever. And like I said, it's just such a versatile card. Like I really push people to really like try to use Wrath of the old ones if you haven't. If you're just playing at home or you don't really have anyone to play with, just really try to utilize that card or just like see the cool ways and cool things that you can do with that card. Because I really do think Wrath of the old ones like can almost be put in just about every single deck. I mean, granted, decks like Steam Deck, no, probably don't play Wrath because a lot of your creatures cannot be bounced because of just their inherent ability. But I think Wrath of the Old Ones definitely is finding its place in competitive. And again, another card they had to limit.
Okay, if you're saying I can play Backstab and then play Wrath to put it back in my deck, yeah, that's correct. You can do that, but you don't get Backstab's effect for that battle. Like it just goes back to your deck. So if you're saying like I want to put a bunch of stuff on the field, play Wrath to like draw a bunch of cards, yeah, you can do that.
Yep.
But you don't get Backstab. Also, you can't use it twice. Like
So
that.
okay, so wait, read me the text because I want to hear this. I need to make
The
sure.
text. Okay, you're you have to interpolate because, and I could pull up the rule. But Backstab says during your turn, this card allows your primary creature to attack first, automatically hit, and do 3x damage. The extended card description basically just talks a lot about like how if you use multiple backstabs, how to calculate the damage,
Gotcha.
automatically hit, you know that. And it's a single use magic card.
Mm-hmm.
And the rules, the ruling for, and I could pull it up if we really want to, but it says single use magic cards stay on the field until their effect concludes.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So,
I think you're
so
right.
here's another like a very similar card, an example. Double hit. I play double hit, it's on the field. I do my first hit, I do my second hit. As soon as the second hit's over, it goes to the cemetery. Which is why, I think our original interpretation of Silence from the Grave was I play it, goes to the cemetery, it just kind of sits there, but its effect still stays on the field.
But
it's a single-use magic card.
But you're giving
stays on the field.
But you are giving me another. That is a card right there. Silence from the Grave, Irresistible Love. These cards that you commit power to, you can use Wrath to just bounce them back before their time. Anything with a time requirement, basically, as long as you're able to play Magic cards under them, you could, in theory, get a turn cycle of them off or whatever and then bounce them back and then be able to use them again. Things like that. I just think Wrath has so much built into that card that can just affect so much of the game. I think obviously resetting HP on creatures. There's just summoning creature effects can go off again if you need them to. There's just so much things that card can just have access to. I think you need Wrath deserves to be on the list.
I think it's fair, and I love Wrath. It's one of my favorite Gen 1 cards. It might be my favorite Gen 1 card.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
But you actually mentioned the card that I was going to say. I was going to say Backstab.
Okay.
Because it allows, actually...
Yeah, I don't know about Backstab.
No. I'm not going to say Backstab.
Okay.
I'm going to change my answer. I'll change my answer to my actual favorite card of all time. Gen 1 and Gen 2. Bunny, I'm kidding. Scroll of Silence. It is so powerful in allowing you to play whatever card, guaranteeing a play. Guaranteeing a play is crazy. I put one at least in every deck I play.
I see. This is where I will debate you. I don't think that card always deserves to be in every deck. I think in certain metas or in certain how do I word this? I think there's ways. Like here, I didn't put any in my deck in Ward Bowl because of my reasoning was I'm going to just have normal negates so that eventually I can basically force you to have to choose and pick when you play scrolls, and I can outpace you with those. So it's it's very hard because I do agree with you as it stands. I think a lot of people run Scroll of Silence in their decks just to have that inherent stop my opponent from negating anything that I'm trying to do. Yeah.
Well, the way that I look at it is if I'm preparing to expend a lot of resources to give me such an upper hand in the game that it should be very, very hard to lose, or I'm going to win that next couple turns.
Yeah.
I want to make sure what I'm going to do is going to happen. Because if it doesn't, I got to regroup, which is fine. But normally I'm thinking about that towards the end of the game where I'm almost out of resources. So you want to save one. You want to save that to right, I need my thing to happen. Or it just has a get me out of jail free card. I have my Holy Light. I have my Ghost of the Past. I'm at 280 in my cemetery, and I got a Kraken in there. Boy, would it help me a lot if I can get that out of there. Play Holy Light, they're going to negate me. Scroll of Silence, guarantee that I get to play that card.
Yeah.
I there are lots of things in War that are up to chance and dice rolls and everything's card draw. It's a card game. I like to have guarantees. That's why I put it up there. I can see why people would disagree with me because Wrath is also an extremely good card. They're both rares, by the way, so that's interesting.
I'm gonna throw an epic into the mix. Flame of the Infinite. I have to put it up
Yeah,
there.
It's good.
If we're trying
It's
to
not
talk
in every
about
deck,
cards that
though.
are like just inherently good in every deck, and every deck could potentially just put it in their deck, Flame of the Infinite, for what it does and for how little I feel like it actually costs you to have that card. I know as much as people might be like 50 HP, that's kind of scary, but like it really, in a competitive game of Ward, I don't think it's that scary. And I think even not in a competitive, like in crack packs, the scariest card to have somebody play is Flame of the Infinite, because they're, first off, not many destruction cards when you just crack open a pack. And
Wow.
if people have that card, it literally just is so much stats that it just destroys games. So like I have to say, I think Flame of the Infinite might top potentially both those cards.
Let the comments decide.
Yeah, okay. We'll let the
I'm in,
comments decide number 8 slot. But either way,
Well,
like I said,
we can agree. We can agree on 7, 1 through 7.
no, we need to do 8. Billy, we have to do 8.
So I thought you were gonna say Turncoat or something.
Again, oh, okay. Yeah, even that's a good card. I mean, personally, I would say, yeah, you could throw Turncoat into most decks. Or like,
Or Epic Loot. I mean,
yeah, I think Epic Loot is more debatable. Dang.
lots of choices.
Do they take
Maybe
do they take over the spots? It's hard because a lot of these cards, I'm just thinking about like in the Ward Bowl, like my deck basically had all that card too, like Turncoat, all these cards that just really give you a lot of flexibility. It's
yeah, but the Elite 8 does not equal Harry's War Bowl deck. We're talking about
well, like you
what
said,
cards...
these are cards that are, well, that's the hard thing, because like you want to say Turncoat, but it's like not a lot of people are just running Turncoat in their decks. Like, when
Why not?
I agree. I'm just trying to say from data, as we attacked Sounds from the Grave with data, you could also attack Turncoat with a little bit of data. Obviously, I'm assuming you have a little bit more data from the Gen 1 only, like, before I got into this game, but like...
Turncoat wasn't used. Okay, fine. Data. No one uses Wrath. Boom. Scroll Silence.
Oh my gosh.
You want to play?
I kind of like Turncoat. I think Turncoat in itself is just a super powerful card and can easily decide games. Like I said, has decided a lot of games. I kind of like Turncoat. I think that is a good card to throw in there. I think it's a card that a lot of people don't even think about too much or play around with, like you said.
Yeah.
It's not until you realize how impactful that card can be. It's like pretty good. All right, Billy. Can we take Turncoat? I think that might trump all those other cards.
I'm fine with Turncoat.
I know you really want to get Scroll of Silence in there. I just don't think some decks I think can I think a lot of decks can function without that card in it, to be honest with you. Like, I do agree what you're saying data wise. As it stands right now, a lot of people do play Scroll of Silence to make sure their things do guarantee it off. I just think there are a lot of powerful, impactful cards that it's like there's a reason, they're at that point in like why they're limited or whatever. Like Turncoat. If Turncoat is not limited, that card would be bonkers, like insane bonkers.
No, you can't play 3 Turncoats. That's stupid.
No, that's what I mean. So it's like that's why I think it might deserve to be on this list. And even with only having one kind of bonkers card. I mean, even
it just makes you save it for when it does the most harm, which is really when you should play it.
Yeah, but like you said, with people with the right understanding of the game, that's like all these cards. Like you said, a lot of these cards could be used poorly. Holy Light could be used poorly on a card if somebody just doesn't think about it, right. It's like So it's like, yeah, I agree. You could make that argument with a lot of these cards, but I think Turncoat deserves to be on there. I really do.
Is Soul so Yu-Gi-Oh early like Legend of Blue is like Soul Exchange? Is that the same thing as Turncoat, where you just is that swap HP or is that swap creature? I don't remember. Change of Heart is literally steal it, but
No, Soul Exchange just let you pay 1,000 HP to bring out all the creatures from your cemetery, or as many creatures that you could with how much with.
well, I was thinking of the art with like the crossed. Like
Oh,
the,
where they go
anyway.
across? No, that I think
Yeah,
that
yeah,
one
yeah.
you could use their creatures to sack for your bigger
Oh,
creatures.
interesting.
Um,
Oh,
where the hell are we going with this? Turncoat. There
oh,
was a there was a card in Yu-Gi-Oh, not to make this a Yu-Gi-Oh podcast, that it was, I think it was like called like Grab Bag or Gotcha or something, and basically it was like an equip card that you could just take one of their creatures, and but you every turn they got like 1,000 life points back or something, and so it's like probably closer to like
interesting.
that, I guess, but you didn't really like swap. Oh wait, I think you're thinking of Change of Life or Heart
No,
or
it's Change of Heart.
Change
You
of
take
Heart.
their creature for one turn.
Okay. Whatever.
You get it as
Let's not
like
make this about Yu-Gi-Oh.
yeah,
Either
yeah, yeah,
way,
yeah, whatever.
I think Turncoat deserves to be on there. I think we should definitely put that
I'll
in.
agree. That's fine. Put it
Okay.
on there. Whatever.
So there we go. We have to come to
Never
a
hate it.
conclusion. The Elite Eight. So again, we have Holy Light, right? And then we have either we should just probably say Visitor. Visitor probably makes it in more decks. So Visitor from Beyond. So Holy Light, Visitor from Beyond. Then you have Revival Priest, and then you have Ghost of the Past. All right, and the number 5 we had was Irresistible Love. Then we have
Yep.
Sounds from the Grave as 6, 7 Assassin, and then 8 Turncoat. There you go.
I feel pretty good about that.
That's our
Let's see how that looks.
yeah.
Let's see what the
That's
comments say. See what the people say. Let's see what the tournament says in a couple months.
see. That's our Elite 8. I think as the game goes on, I think Heroism. How do you feel about Heroism? I think that card honestly is pretty close to being a contention for.
It's on the bubble.
Yeah.
I love heroism. It is you can use it offensively and defensively.
I just think it's just such a unique card, and like it being in the game just affects the game in such a unique way too. Like giving people the ability to always have creature effects for that creature. You know, it's like I don't know. I think it is. It's definitely a card that I think a lot of people might gravitate more towards, just going further into Ward. Like you said, at any time like people are to have powerful creature effects, you're gonna run this card in your deck. But yeah, does that kind of round up our Elite Eight?
Yeah, I think so.
But either way, like you were saying in the comments, guys, everybody, part of the Ward Discord, everybody can voice their opinion, what they think might be the Elite Eight. I do believe me and you, like people in the competitive scene should be pretty accustomed to kind of understanding what cards are pretty strong. Obviously, I think it is just a fun discussion, and I think it is kind of cool to have Ward have the power cards kind of like explain, just like a lot of other TCG games. I think it's good for people to kind of know what these cards are. But yeah, again, if you agree, disagree with us, if you think me and Billy are totally crazy, we don't know what we're talking about, leave it in the comments, and we'll love to maybe talk about it again. Like Billy was saying, bring up the Elite Eight at another point. But that's what we have. We have the Elite Eight because of that. That is our stamp, our Ward power cards in our game. Going forward. Yeah, going forward, one more topic I kind of want to touch before we kind of wrap up here. FanCon. I want to make sure we bring this up. I want to pop up the little thing too. FanCon is going to be going on this weekend. It is a 2-day event. So if hopefully you've already ordered your tickets if you are going. If you still want to go, I'm sure there are still tickets available to go to FanCon if you're in the area. It's at Virginia, Minnesota, so obviously a lot of people out of state might be a little harder for them to get to, but I do know a lot of people are going there, and the big hype is boss battles. On Saturday, I think they're doing a crack pack boss battle, which I think sounds pretty fun, where you're going to face a boss with just a random assortment of cards. I won't be there for Saturday, but I think that'll be a pretty fun experience. So hopefully I can talk to somebody who does make it Saturday, so we can kind of get their experience was. That'll be my goal, Billy. So hold me to it. I'm gonna hopefully find somebody. If not the devs, will have to give me the tale of what happened on Saturday with the crack pack boss battle. But I'll let people figure out if they beat the boss or not with just cracking packs, because I think that's a pretty fun experience to try to face a boss with hopefully a big group of people with a crack pack. So that'll be Saturday. I think it's at 1 p.m. So make sure you're not late to the crack pack boss battle. And then again, if you have a ticket for both days, so it's Saturday and Sunday. So if you're going, I'm just going to be there for Sunday. But Sunday they're also doing a boss battle. But this is the big raid boss that potentially they're going to have out, depending on how many people show up. If you haven't looked at the post, that is a circumstance that they're, depending on how many people show up is how big of a boss they're going to bring out. So let's try to jack up the numbers and let's get as many people there, because I want to see the biggest boss they can throw at us. But that one is bring your own deck. So again, if you're going on Sunday, make sure you're bringing your deck. You're bringing 4 decks for random people that might be there, or you can get a bunch of friends together and have them all come out on Sunday. And again, that's at 1 p.m. and they're doing the big raid boss with bring your own deck. So I'm excited for FanCon. I've got my ticket. I'm ready to rock and roll. Like I said, I'm gonna hopefully on the next episode or whenever I'm gonna get all this all the results that happen and let you know if we beat the big raid boss, and whatever the big raid boss is, we will be talking about it. So like I said, it'll be a very hype, fun experience. So yeah, Billy, like you said, I'm hoping that at some point you guys will get a raid boss in the cities that's a little more accessible for you to get to too. But yeah. Basically, that's all we got for FanCon. With that, Billy, final thoughts. Wrap up the episode.
My wrap up thought is, let us know how Harry is wrong about his Elite Eight.
Yeah, you're trying to pin them all against me. All right, fair enough.
Yeah, no, that's good.
All right. Sounds good. Yeah, I like I said, I'm excited for FanCon. Obviously, we have a bunch of cons coming up. It is a little bit of a quieter time. I'm excited to just kind of get through this league too. Honestly, like I hope other people, if you want to, I feel like it's just a very inclusive thing, and it seems like we're getting a lot of people. It's like even people that aren't in the league. Most times I like to make sure people can watch my league game that I play each week. And Billy, you also posted something about playing Tommy, and a lot of people jumped in there today and were watching. So it's like, if you are curious and you want to watch people play Ward, definitely jump in those games and just maybe get in even just joining the Discord call, talking to the people in there. I think it's a great experience to just kind of get to meet more people of the community, especially if you're people or your members that are kind of in those areas where you don't really have a big group of people. It's a fun way to kind of interact with the community, even if it is like kind of a smaller end thing, right, Billy? I think the summer league is a great place for everybody to join. But all right.
Here.
I think with that, we're going to call it. So that's episode 21 of WWB. Thanks, guys, for listening. Again, subscribe, do all those awesome things, support our channel, talk about it, whatever you got to do, get it out there. But you guys have a great night, and we'll see you next weekend.
Bye.